Hey you guys, welcome to the show. I'm so excited that you're here. Today we're going to talk about implants and explants. I told you guys that I was going to be doing this episode, so here it is. If you're watching the YouTube video, welcome. And if you have not, go check out my YouTube channel. I would love to see you on there and to chat with you on there. So, all right, let's dive in. Let's talk implants and explants. So it was March of 2017. March of 2017 that I decided to get implants. And the backstory to that was that I had always been small, right? I'd always been someone that was just small up top. And in my mind, that meant that I was disproportionate. That was the story that I told myself, was that I'm disproportionate. It's not the perfect body, right? It's not that perfect size. And I need help if I want to be more attractive, was basically the story that I had for myself. Now, we went through our marriage, and after nursing 2 babies and having 2 kids, and then working out a bunch and getting in shape, I had lost everything. I didn't have anything left, and I was like, okay, now I'm really not proportionate, and so I'm really not as attractive as I could or should be. And then we went through our betrayal and infidelity and finding his porn addiction and everything like that. And you feel so raw when you go through that and you realize the type of women that they are supposedly attracted to, and you compare. I mean, I think as women, we compare ourselves anyways. And so I think during that time, it was so hard. It was so hard mentally to not... It was hard mentally to grasp the fact that it was not about me and my body, and it was about him and his issues, and that he truly was attracted to me and truly did want what I had and not what they had. But when you're in that, it is so hard to mentally and heart-wise connect the two. It's pretty much almost impossible. It takes a lot of work. A lot of consistent work over and over and over again to get to this place of being able to recognize that and being able to have confidence in yourself. So while at the time I believed that I was doing it strictly for me because I had worked so hard on myself and my body after kids and felt really proud of what I looked like. And so I was like, this would be the one thing that I would like to make me feel better, because he never pressured me. He never ever made it an issue. He's always told me he likes me just the way I am, right? So it was never something where I felt less than for him because of him. I felt less than for him because as a woman in the society that we live in, we are told that certain things are better than others. And once you become a mom and you lose these things, it's so easy to feel like you're less than. So I think I felt less than, and while I was so proud of all the work I had done on my body, physically speaking, I couldn't change that part, right? You can't magically change that. So I was like, you know what? I really want to do this. This is the first thing in my life that's big that I'm going to make happen. And I decided to make it happen. And looking back, I mean, I could regret that decision where I am now, but I actually love myself for that decision, because it was literally the first time that I stood up and said, I'm going to stand by something really big that I want and believe in, and I'm going to go for it regardless of what anybody else thinks. That was the first time in my life that I really, really did something like that, where besides marrying my husband, because that was an issue too. We talked about that on another podcast, but that was the first thing for me that people could judge me for. People could really think ill of me for, and that I decided I didn't need anybody else's permission, right? And that I was going to do it for me. So I was really proud of myself for stepping into that, and I got them. And ever since I came out of surgery, right? I remember being so proud of myself for that decision and that surgery, and I was super happy with them. But I will tell you that my stomach bloated from surgery. They always say from the drugs and everything that are in your system, my stomach totally bloated, and that never totally went away. I looked at myself in the shower a couple days after surgery, and I looked like I was 3 months pregnant. And I said that to my husband, and he was like, well, that's the drugs, that's the drugs going through your system, whatever. And while that did get less than, I didn't constantly look like I was 3 months pregnant, I felt like it never ever went away. And for me, I actually ended up feeling like I looked bigger overall because of my large chest now, because I'm someone that's more curvy. I definitely have the bottom side. I don't have the top side. And so having both made me feel actually bigger overall. So that was not expected. I thought I would feel perfect. I thought I would feel sexy. And while I did have moments like that and I did love them, overall, it was harder to shop. It was harder to find things that I really wanted to wear because the way they create clothes are for natural breasts, not implants. And so I actually thought it would be easier to shop. No, it was harder. All these things, whatever. But I did love them for a while. And then I will tell you that I decided to get the copper IUD N2 because I think this is part of it. That's why I'm going to tell you guys. And I didn't want hormones, so I opted for that. And so I had now fake in my body with the implants, and then I had fake in my body with the copper. And I do think it was the combination of both that might have triggered my Hashimoto's. I can't say that for sure, but the more you look into it, the more you study things like this, it's getting those fake things put in that your body has to be fighting against. Your body basically starts fighting against them ever since you put them in. It can trigger your body to go on overload, right? Which is what Hashimoto's is your body's starting to attack like your thyroid because it's trying to attack so many things. So I started last year feeling good. I did intermittent fasting and I did that for a while, which can be great. But again, it stresses your adrenals. If you don't know anything about it, it stresses your adrenals, especially if you still drink coffee, which I did. And that was taxing on my body, right? So now I'm taxing my body by stressing my adrenals, which women in particular are more succumb to that anyways. That's like not the right word, but whatever. We are more prone to that anyways. So I was doing that and I was pushing really hard in my business last year. And about summertime came and it was the hardest push in my business that I've ever done to date. I was making this goal happen come hell or high water. I've talked about this in another episode, which meant a lot of stress. There was a period of about 6 weeks that were very stressful, very emotionally taxing, and I was tired. I remember last summer, brain fog being really bad. I was tired all the time. I had to go to bed so early. I would travel and go on trips, and when I came back from trips, I would always be bloated because of eating differently for a few days, and then it would take me like a week to get that off and get back to where I was. And I thought that was just part of traveling, right? But after that big push in my business and after achieving it, I was so tired. I just remember feeling like I'm just exhausted. I'm so tired. I'm not motivated, like any of these things. And I know that that was stress on my body for a while. That also can trigger, like the whole combination of all of these can trigger Hashimoto's. So I remember ever since that point just feeling tired. I needed a lot of extra sleep. And even though I slept well at night, I would wake up not feeling rested. And then if I drank at all, if I drank any kind of alcohol at all, I would feel fatigued. Like my sleep did nothing for me. So it made me really want to stop drinking. I did. I've given up a lot of drinking in the last year because it just wipes me out. And I don't like that. I don't like feeling tired all the time, right? So long story short, the end of last year, I noticed I was traveling and coming back, and instead of losing the weight and losing the bloat, it was just hanging around. And I was like, well, that's weird. Like, this has never happened before. And then January of this year is when it really started to get bad. I could not get this weight off. I was doing all the same things. I was eating the same way. It was not going away. I was really bloated. I got really depressed. I had a lot of mornings waking up being like, I could just cry in bed all day. Which is not me at all. I'm like a morning person. I'm very positive. Like, I'm very excited to go. And I was just like, I don't even know who I am anymore. And the brain fog was bad, and I was tired all the time, and my stomach digestion was having issues. My bowel movements were all totally bad, like 8 or 10 a day. I know this is totally TMI, but I'm trying to help you guys. So finally, I get super sick. And I think it's strep throat because it feels like shards of glass in my throat. and I can't swallow. But the weird thing is my face totally swells up. My lips totally swell up. My face totally swells up. I don't even look like myself. I had to hide out on social media a couple of days. I get a bad fever for a night and then it goes away. And then I think I start getting better because my sore throat starts becoming less. And so I'm like, okay, I'm getting better. This is great. And then just as I think I'm starting to get better, I wake up with my lymph node in my throat incredibly swollen, so painful. And from there, it spread to my tonsils, getting huge. Like my tonsils and uvula, that little thing in the back of your throat, swelled up so big that it was hanging down, like almost touching my tongue in the back of my throat. It makes you feel like you're gagging 24/7. Not fun at all. And my throat's hurting again. And I'm like, this has been 2 weeks at this point. So I go to the ER. I'm like, you know what? It's strep throat, which has turned into tonsillitis because I Googled it, of course. And so they're like, they do the little swab and they're like, it came back negative, but we're going to give you an antibiotic just to kill everything off. This antibiotic will not just kill strep, it'll kill some other things too. I start taking the antibiotic, which of course like messes up my whole system again, and nothing happens. I'm still the same. I still have the same stuff going on. So a week later, I'm at the gynecologist getting my checkup, and I told her, I was like, please take a blood test on me today. Please run my thyroid. Please run all my blood tests. I want to know if I'm okay. So she ran everything and was like, everything looks fine. We didn't see anything particular. And I was like, what? So then somebody told me, when you're testing for Hashimoto's, you can't just run a regular thyroid test. You have to test specifically for T3 and T4 free and your TSH. So I was like, oh, well, I didn't do that. So I go into another doctor's office, an actual appointment this time. And the woman there is like, oh, you just have a virus. I saw somebody else with this virus. Like, that's all that it is. And I was like, well, I want a blood test and I want you to test these things. And she's like, well, does anybody in your family have this? I'm like, well, my mom has thyroid issues, but no, not to my knowledge has anybody been diagnosed. And she's like, well, it's hereditary usually. So like, I don't know why you would think you would have this, blah, blah, blah. Like basically not listening to me, basically just wanted to write me a prescription for another like antibiotic thing. And I was like, no, I'm getting this tested. Like, you're not hearing me. I'm not this type of person, because she wanted to tell me that I was probably premenopausal. And you guys, I was 34 at the time. And I was like, premenopausal? Are you kidding me? And I was like, wouldn't that be of concern, right? Hello, if I'm premenopausal at 34, and she's like, it can happen sometimes. I'm like, this is not okay. So I insist on her running the tests. She runs the tests and calls me within like 4 days and was like, oh my gosh, you actually do have Hashimoto's. And I'm like, this is why I had you test for this. And I kid you not, she's like, so I'm just going to write you a prescription for thyroid medication, and you might want to look up like eating for Hashimoto's. And I was like, yeah, okay, peace out. I never filled the prescription because I knew like, hey, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this right. I had always said for the last few years, because I knew of a couple people that got implants and got Hashimoto's, I was like, if my implants, if I get Hashimoto's, that's it. Like, I'm done. I'm taking them out. So at that point in time, I decided to get the IUD out. I was like, get everything fake out of me. And I started looking into talking to a doctor about implant removal. Then, just as I'm doing all of that, I also started to meet with a naturopath to start working on it naturally. Then my throat eventually does clear up, but coronavirus hit and quarantine happened. So I couldn't go see a doctor about my implant removal. All my appointments got canceled, but I did get in to see my naturopath right before this happened. She put me on the autoimmune paleo diet. I started following that. She started giving me supplements for my adrenal fatigue. She eventually, after a couple of appointments, gave me a natural thyroid medication that I am taking currently. So I'm taking adrenal supplements every day. I'm taking a B vitamin, a D vitamin. I'm trying to think. Oh, a BioVeg, which is just to clean out like candida and stuff in my gut, because she not only ran a full blood panel, but she ran a urine sample too. So we got like a real good look at my gut and everything else going on. Because I was like, it's time to work on me and get me back again. So long story short, after quarantine lifted, I was like, get me in, I'm getting these things out. And while a big part of that was my health and wanting to reclaim my health, it's really cool because last fall, I started thinking and noticing people that were built like me without implants and thinking how beautiful it was and how much I missed feeling like myself, how much I missed feeling like this athletic, strong girl who can use her body to go do amazing, fun things and be athletic and be agile and go on adventures. And ever since I got my implants and put them under the muscle, I felt limited in some of those things. I didn't feel like I could do everything that I wanted to do. I didn't feel just like free in my body. And I don't think it was the implants. I think it was more mentally. I think, honestly, you guys, it was all the work that I did on myself last year and truly loving myself. And I just remembered that little girl that I used to be, that little girl that was like so excited every day to wake up and just like run outside and be outside and do all the fun things. And I was very athletic as a kid. I was very active. I did everything. I would try everything. And I was just like, I miss her. And I'm so ready to feel like her again. And so I had been thinking about an explant last fall. I was like, I wonder if I don't even want these anymore. Like, I wonder if I want them out and I just want to be me again. Like, I just want to be small and be free to be like completely in my body. And at the time, last fall, I was still so nervous that I would regret it. I still was like, what if I hate that? What if I take them out and I hate it? What if I miss them? Like, what if, and all these things. And I have to say the most beautiful part about all of this is really watching my daughter grow up, because she's built just like me. And I look at her and I look at the freedom she has in expressing herself and running around and just like experiencing her life. And I would never look at her and be like, you're not absolutely gorgeous. Like, you don't need anything. You're so beautiful. You don't need fake boobs. Like, you are so beautiful, and it's your spirit and joy that you have in expressing yourself in your body. That's what makes you beautiful. And so watching her, I'm going to get emotional talking about this, but watching her was like what reminded me of how I used to be. And I just really missed that. And so then when this health stuff happened, it was like the final push that I needed to be 100% confident in making that choice, because I was like, now it's my health on the line, so now I have to do this. And I went into it scared 100%. I went into it being like, oh my gosh, there's a part of me that's like so worried that I'm going to wake up and like hate myself and hate how I look and feel so ashamed in front of my husband, because that's who I was before, 4 years ago. And then I realized afterwards, and even before, right before going in, I was like, you know what, Joy? You're not her anymore. Like, you aren't that woman who was so broken. You aren't that woman who so needed other things to make you feel confident. You aren't that woman who is so insecure because of his past and because of his struggles. You aren't that woman who wants to be someone else. You are so happy to be you, and you're so proud of yourself and in love with yourself. And you don't need to be afraid of feeling that way, because you're literally not her. And it was just this beautiful moment for me of literally transformation. Like, I went in to that surgery so excited and so confident, and I woke up so proud of myself. I came out so freaking proud of myself, and I had zero regrets. And I also
have felt nothing but joy and happiness and pride in who I am and how I look ever since I came out of it. Literally, you guys, like, yeah, the first couple weeks, they look kind of funny. And even then, I was like, I don't even care. Like, I'm so happy to feel like that little girl and to feel free inside to be me. It was unlike anything I can explain to you guys other than the little girl inside me came back to life. And she was like, I'm back and we're back. And now everything feels totally okay and aligned. Like now we are who we were made to be. Now I am her again. Like now I'm honoring her and I'm remembering her and I'm embracing her. And I have nothing but peace and joy and happiness about this decision. And honestly, I love, love, love how I look. I love being small up top with the bigger booty on the bottom. I love feeling athletic, even though I can't do everything yet. It's driving me crazy that I can't do everything yet. I'm so, so incredibly happy. And I can't regret the decision because I know it's what led me to being who I am today and to finding my voice and to finding that little girl. But I would say if you're thinking about it, I have nothing against them at all whatsoever. So I would tell you a couple of things. I would say, one, start doing that healing work on yourself and connecting with your inner little girl first. Because when we feel a deficit in our physical appearance, it's because of something off on the inside. It's always a healing job on the inside. And you're not going to fix it with something on the outside. You're going to put a Band-Aid on it. But a Band-Aid is not going to fix the real thing, and it's not going to make you happy. You'll just find something else to be insecure about when you do that. And then, so I would say do the healing work first on you. And then two, consider a fat transfer. 100%. If I were ever to do this over again, I would consider a fat transfer over anything fake in my body. It was just not even worth it to me. I feel incredible. Ever since I took them out, I feel like my sleep is actually restful. Ever since literally like a couple nights after surgery, I remember I started waking up being like, oh my God, I feel more rested. I'm more clear-headed. Like the brain fog is gone. My bloat is disappearing and I'm eating the same way. My body is just functioning better. I'm super happy. I'm not like depressed. And so I would just say it's not worth the health risk if I were you. Now, like I said, nothing against them. And I think you should do whatever's going to make you happy. But I would encourage you to consider why you're not happy, because it's probably deeper than your appearance. And you deserve to have real joy. You deserve to have real happiness. And that has nothing to do with your appearance. It has everything to do with that little girl inside who's hurting and who needs some love and who needs some healing. So that's my thoughts for you guys today on implants and explants. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will be getting retested with my Hashimoto's in a few months, just to see the progress that I'm making as far as my diet goes and getting these things out of me. And I'll let you know as that goes. But if you have any questions on Hashimoto's or implants or anything like that, please reach out to me in the DMs. I would love to hear from you. And if you guys have never considered coaching with me, I have a couple of spots left. Coaching is what literally changed my life. It is why I was able to embrace the little girl and be strong enough to get my implants out and be so freaking happy and in love with myself. It's because of getting coaching. That's what I want to help you guys do. That is my mission on this earth. God put me here to not only transform myself, but then pass that gift on to others and light up women. That's what I'm here for, you guys. I am here to help you remember that little girl inside, to connect with her, to heal her, and then step into your mission and your purpose that God has given you. That is my job. And I would love to work with you. If you're feeling that pull, please send me a DM on Instagram. I would love to chat with you and see if we are a good fit. I'm here to serve. I am here to help. I am here to bring healing and light and love and God into your life and your situation. And I can't wait to hear from you. All right, have a beautiful day.